Hi there, this is Bethany Daly, and this tutorial is a continuation of what we were talking about before on the decreased bind off. Before I showed you how to use it in conjunction with making a little footy shape on a baby booty. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make it into a lovely little rosette. This is so cute and easy to do, and then it just gets felted and all assembled. So be sure and check that out so that you can pick up that free pattern. Now let me show you how to make that rosette. It is so easy. Now for this particular pattern, all I've done is I've used the E-wrap panel knit method to cast onto all 24 pegs of the loom, and I've knitted 8 rows. And I have done, up to this point, I've already bound off all of these pegs that you see along here that are empty. These are already done, and it's been bound off using the decreased bind off method. See how this panel that we've knit is all curling up naturally like that? That's all due to the decreases that we do when we're binding off. So just as a refresher, we're going to go over really quickly how we do those again. And this one's already been knit and taken care of, so we are going to E-wrap the next 2 in line, like that, and then they're going to get knit off. We're using 2 strands as one, as you can see there on the worsted weight. You kind of need to do that to make up the gauge difference from the fine gauge to the large gauge looms. Now we're going to take this one and we're going to move it over to this first peg here. I can get that over there. Kind of at a weird angle here. And then we're going to take that one and move it over as well. Now, what I want you to do for this rosette is really pull on that working yarn to take up any of the slack that's left in here. And then those 2 get knit off 2 over 1. And remember how I showed you that you can take off 1 at a time if it's too tight for you, alright? Then this loop that's remaining gets moved over 1 and 2 times. So it goes right over to this peg here. There we go. And then we're going to cinch it in one more time to make sure that we've taken out all that slack. Now let's do that again. I'm going to E-wrap 1 and 2, and it gets knit off both of those. Alright, now we move this one over 1 here, and then we're going to move the second one up on top of its buddies like that. Pull out all the slack for our rosette because we want all those gathers. And just like I said, if you need to do it 1 at a time, you go for it. Do 1 and then 2 because it is kind of tight once we pull that all in. And then we're going to move that all the way over so it's right up next to the other ones in line. Okay, snug it again. And then we're going to E-wrap again. 1 and 2. Alright. And then it gets knit off. Knit off. This one moves over. Like that. And then this one moves over. Wait, I'm off. Looks like I'm all thumbs today. Okay, so I'm going to snug all of this back in. There we go. And then this gets knit off 1 and 2. Okay? And then again, 1 and 2. We're moving it over. Okay, now we're left with because we're working in groups of 3, that kind of leaves us with an odd number when we're dealing with an even number of pegs to begin with. So we're going to have 1 left over, so that's fine. We're just going to E-wrap that and knit it off and bind it off as it normally would be if we were doing the basic bind off. So we're going to go ahead and knit that off right there. Okay. There we go. Now we have our last peg. Now I like to just E-wrap that one more time, knit it off, and then this can be trimmed and pulled through. But what I'm going to do, actually, is give ourselves a tail, okay? So that we have room to stitch our rosette in place. So now this is going to get pulled all the way through because we already looped it through, so we know it's cinched and ready to go. Voila, just like that. Okay, so we're going to set aside our loom. Now look at that, look, it's already almost forming a rosette all on its own. Check that out, that's pretty cool, huh? Okay, now I am going to show you one of my favorite little tools. And this is my wool needle by Pony brand. Isn't that cool? It's got a little filament right there instead of a regular eye. And then it's a metal needle, which I really like, especially for working with really thick projects like this felted bag is. It's great for working with that kind of material. So a quick way to thread this is to loop your yarn over your needle, pull it out, and then those little pieces get put through that filament, and there you go. Easy as pie. Okay, now what we're going to do with this is we're going to go ahead and form our rosette the way we would like it to be formed, okay? The way we want it to end up looking when the project is all done. So I'm just winding it up on itself. Now normally you might want to take some time before this step to weave this end through and just weave it back in through your fabric just like you would normally on a project, okay? And then do all this fastening in. Okay, so I've got this rosette all twirled up, and doesn't it look cute? Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and fasten it in. So I'm just stitching through all of the thicknesses, even deep through to the first inside layer so that I catch it all. See that? And now I'm going to pull it through. There we go. We've got our first stitch to where it stays. Now see, this particular project involves felting this rosette. So we really want to make sure that all the pieces are stitched in good and tight, because it really goes through a lot of agitation in the felting process. So I'm getting up in there and I'm grabbing that inside layer, making sure it's stitched in there good. Okay, so now I'm pulling that. Good. Okay. Now what I like to do is just kind of stitch a little bit up the rosette like this, just a little bit. Okay, and it doesn't matter how neat and tidy you necessarily are, because remember, it's going to be felted. All of these little stitches are going to completely disappear after the felting process. So it's not really necessary that you do a special invisible stitch or anything. You just go ahead and just stitch it in place how you want your end rosette to look like. Okay, so that's about how I like it, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and knot that, but what I'm going to do is bring it back down through the center, loop it a few times just to add extra security, and I'm going to knot it at the bottom. Okay. Pull that through. Okay, I'm going to loop it through a little bit, and then loop it through again, just like that. Cinch it in tight. Good, and then there we go. You've got your rosette all ready to go. And pop into there to get felted. And then when you're attaching it to your bag, you can stitch it down in areas, maybe stitch that center down like I kind of did, a little bit tighter to form the rosette in the way that you want it to be for its final shape, and just let it dry that way, and it'll stay forever. Okay? Well, thanks for sticking around with me this long and listening to this little tutorial on how to make really cute felted rosettes using the decreased bind-off method. Thanks, and have a great day.